magbuba daw ako, at saka magbuka ka daw ako, at saka igaganon ko lang sarili ko.
Hello everyone! Magandang araw po sa lahat, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at sa lahat ng Pinay saan man sa mundo. I am Dr. Shi Armero, your friendly OBGYN and lifestyle medicine specialist, and you are watching DANGPANAN, a live series of Doc Shi TV. We do this every Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon simultaneously in YouTube Doc Shi TV and in Facebook Dr. Shi Armero, OBGYN Lifestyle Clinic. The goal of this program is to give education in various social media platforms to empower you, Pinays, to take charge of your health through correct and science-based or evidence-based information. DANGPANAN, a Bisaya term for shelter, is chosen to be the name of this program because I want to share this comfort of good education to all of you, my viewers, through a platform that is accessible to all. Welcome to another educational Saturday afternoon. And what's more, you do not just learn, you can also share these blessings to others by giving everyone a chance to win a free online consultation coupon. So invite your friends, your relatives, by typing their names in the chat box or click the share button. And don't forget the hashtag DocSheetTV, or in short, hashtag DDSTV. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to click that follow button at Dr. Shi Armero OBGYN Lifestyle Clinic Facebook page, or click that subscribe button in YouTube Doc Shi TV, and don't forget to click that notification bell for you to be notified on future videos.
DANGPANAN, kabahin sa panglawas o relasyon. Doc Shi Armero.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all the Filipinas out there and their loved ones. Once again, you are watching DANGPANAN, the live series of Doc Shi TV. If this is your first time watching, please click that follow button in our official FB page, Dr. Shi Armero OBGYN Lifestyle Clinic, or subscribe in our YouTube channel, Doc Shi TV. What a wonderful afternoon here in the Philippines to all of us. Please let me know from where are you watching. We are looking at, hello, Ate Jeannie. Thank you once again for being with us this afternoon. Yes, it's our last regular DANGPANAN live series. Rina, thank you again for being and religiously watching us. Dr. Galion also, Doc, thank you for being with us this afternoon. And of course, Ire Flores, thank you very much. Again, this will be a very intense, probably emotional topic for all of us. And before anything else, I would like to thank my student, Darren Duro for that wonderful video you just watched earlier on violence against women and children. He is my student from Southwestern University School of Medicine. He's the staff of Synapse Publication, the official publication of the School of Medicine. So thank you, Darren, for saying yes to making that video. So we are going, hello from my cousins. Hello, Atimi. Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon from Buena Vista, Agusan del Norte. Hello, Dr. Banaay. Yes, sending our love. Thank you for being with us. Achi and Bert, thank you. Hello, Sis Dimple. Thank you for coming. Again, let's click on and share. Thank you, Ate Jeannie, for tagging a lot of people. Yes, Grace, my student, thank you for watching us this afternoon. So without further ado, and with a very warm welcome, so I'll be introducing our speaker. She obtained her degree in Bachelor of Arts, major in Psychology, magna cum laude, and Juris Doctor cum laude from Southwestern University in Cebu City. She was appointed to be the prosecution service in 2004 and became a family court prosecutor in 2005. Her work primarily consists of prosecuting cases involving women and children, and she also prosecutes special cases covered by the Department of Justice Witness Protection Program for Region 7, where she is presently detailed. Because of her advocacy on women and children protection, she became a member of the Technical Working Group of the Cebu Provincial Women's Commission and sat as its commissioners from 2011 to 2017. Her years on working on cases involving women and children has earned her the distinction of being the prosecutor who successfully secured a conviction in the first documented cyber pornography case in Cebu. I'm very proud that, like me, she is also a faculty member of Southwestern University, but in the School of Law, and a member of the Rotary Club of Cebu Fuente, where she champions women and child protection. Ladies, gentlemen, and lovies, I know my introduction cannot give justice to all her achievements, yet we are very blessed to have her in DANGPANAN's last regular episode. A true-blooded Cebuana, a senior assistant provincial prosecutor of Cebu, Attorney Lolita Lomanta. Attorney Lomanta, thank you very much for gracing our last regular DANGPANAN episode. You can say hi to our audience.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. I would have just wanted to sit down and listen to you because let me be very candid with you, Doc Shi. No, this is I've seen you post about this DANGPANAN for the longest time, but I never really had an occasion to listen to you start the show, especially run the show, and it appears to me at first impression that this is one very entertaining, not only informative. The way you deliver the introduction is something that has caught my attention. Well, anyway, maayong hapon, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening. Just like what she said, we don't really know at what particular time you'll be watching this. If you are not watching this live, I am very honored and privileged to join you on the last episode of DANGPANAN for this season. I don't really know when you started this, but really the honor is mine. I said no the first time, but I do not know what got into my head the other day when you told me that you're going to do the last episode. But when you told me it's about domestic violence, I have to tell everybody that women protection is not only an advocacy I support, but it is actually my advocacy. For the information of everybody, I've been talking about this law I started talking about this 2007 until about 2014. I went around the different municipalities in Cebu just talk, raise the level of awareness of our fellow Cebuanas here. And I'm very privileged to be given this opportunity to talk about this again today. I told Doc Shi the other day that I spoke before our OBGYN doctors just the other day, but I included the topic on child abuse. But today, this is exclusively for domestic violence. Okay, I'm
Yes.
good.
Okay, I'll start sharing the screen here.
Okay,
The virtual floor is yours.
okay, I'll just tell you next, Doc Shi. Before I dive in to my
Okay.
first slide, I'd like to begin my presentation today with a story. Okay? I'd like to share with you this case. This case was decided by the Supreme Court in 1950, but the incident happened in 1948. I know at the back of your head, you're thinking, why in the world is Attorney Lumanta going to share a story which happened in 1948? The message that I want to tell you is this public crime and this public health issue is not only relevant today, but this has been in existence a long time ago. But it was only very recently that we took on measures to be able to enforce the existing laws that we have. No, so let me share with you this story about Chupista Kanha. This is just very brief, Doc Shi, no? Chupis is married to Pedro. So one night, Pedro arrived very drunk. Immediately, upon arrival, he boxed Chupista in the stomach, causing Chupista to faint. Upon regaining consciousness, Chupista asked Pedro why he boxed her. Pedro replied that if she will persist, he will certainly hit her again. So later on, while having dinner, Pedro threw away the rice and left. So he didn't eat at all. But when he returned home later on, he boxed Chupista again, saying he was so irritated by her jealousy. So Chupista was so resentful of these beatings, on top of which Pedro squandered all their land in gambling. And he even had the gall to keep a mistress. So badlungon kaayo. So thus one night, while Pedro slept, Chupista struck his head with a hammer until Pedro died.
Okay.
She then wrapped the body of Pedro with a mat with the help of his eldest daughter, who initially hesitated to cooperate with her. They carried his dead body to the creek. You know, because of this incident, Chupista was charged and she was convicted of parricide, which conviction was affirmed by the Supreme Court. And she was sentenced to life imprisonment. In the concurring opinion of one of the justices of the Supreme Court, okay, he said that while I agree with the conviction of Chupista and that I also agree with the correctness of the sentence, he already recognized as early as 1950 that if there is one person who deserves mercy, it is Chupista. Because he recognized that the violence, okay, that Chupista actually used in killing her husband was simply a manifestation of the pent-up righteous anger and rebellion for the years of abuse that she experienced in the hands of her husband. That's why the good justice recommended executive clemency. I don't really know what happened to Chupista after her conviction was affirmed. But why am I sharing this story? Because Chupista can be anyone among us here in the audience, or she can
Wala
be
nako.
any of the people we love, any of the people we know of. She can be our friend, she can be our mother, she can be our sister. That's why I'm sharing this with you, because I want you to embrace this story. Okay, embrace this story, welcome this, and think very seriously. Is there something that we can do for all that you pistas out there? Okay, so let me begin my presentation. I think one of the best ways to make you understand about our need to have a collective voice and put an end to domestic violence is providing you some important information about the law. We have the law, we have a robust legal framework that provides protection to women. But we have to understand this specific law because this is the very law that can really prepare us to address this problem. Okay, this is RA 9262. This was enacted by Congress in 2004. What is domestic violence? Okay, let's have the next one. You can see on the screen that it says it's any act or a series of acts. I'd like to begin with this line. You know why? Because some men who are charged with this, with violation of this law always say, kausa naman, it happened only once. Isang beses lang nangyari. Why should I be liable? Well, the law clearly provides in the definition that it can be any act, even a single act, for as long as it will result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or economic abuse on the part of the woman, okay, that would already constitute violence against women and their children. I also want you to take closely at the definition. Look at the perpetrator. It's any act or series of acts committed by any person. The perpetrator is genderless. It's gender-free. So in lesbian relationships, it's possible, no? That a lesbian partner can be held liable because, look, the perpetrator is any person. It's not gender specific, but the victim is always a woman, or her child. So the victim is gender specific. There can be no other victim but a woman or her child. Okay? Next one, please. Okay, I think this is very, very clear. Who can be held liable and who are the perpetrators? Like what I stated earlier, the victim is a woman. So who can be the possible perpetrators? Husbands. So the victim is the wife or former husband. So it covers even past relationships. So the victim is the former wife or boyfriends or partners. So even if the couple is not married, they're sweethearts, and there is violence, the woman, girlfriend, is also protected under the law. Or ex-boyfriends, partners can be perpetrators. So ex-girlfriends can be victims. Or those with whom they have a common child. So there may be no romantic relationship, no marriage ties, but if they have a common child, there is protection afforded to the victim. Or one has or had a sexual or dating relationship. That's why I was asked this question. Fiscal, what if you have a prostitute beaten black and blue? Can she seek protection under the law? Okay, look, anyone who has a sexual relationship, the moment you have carnal knowledge with this woman engaged in commercial sexual activity, okay, then she may seek protection under the law. Okay, this protection also extends to children. Children can be legitimate, illegitimate. So I was also asked this question. What about children who are not her biological children? Can they seek protection under the law? The answer is yes, because the law is very clear. Any child who is under the care and custody of the woman who is likewise a victim of violence may seek protection under the law. And then another question that is commonly asked is, you call this law domestic violence, okay, anti-domestic violence, but is it only confined in the four corners of the home?
Of the house.
Yes. The answer is no. Any violence between these intimate partners outside the family abode is covered under the law. Okay? So you see the relationship, because in the series of lectures that I've been doing, I've been asked also, what if the one who employs violence is the son and it's committed against the mother? Can the mother seek protection under the law? Now, take note. This is intimate partner violence. there is no intimate relationship. I'm talking about physical sexual intimacy between the mother and the son. So the mother cannot seek protection under the law. So I was also asked, so what is the recourse? What is the recourse of the mother now? If the act committed by the son would constitute parricide or frustrated parricide,
Okay.
attempted parricide, or serious physical injuries, less serious or slight, recourse is our existing revised penal code. So what I'm saying here is, if you cannot seek protection under RA 9262, we have
We can have
our
somewhere else.
Yes, we have the revised penal code that should respond to your concern. So I hope that's very clear, huh? Okay, let's go to the next one. I hope I answered some points already, no? So there are different points that we should consider in domestic violence or intimate partner violence. This is the most common. Most of the cases that we see in our courts, in our office, is physical violence. A lot of them go to us. But once the black and blue are gone, they're gone too.
Yeah. So
Okay, so they come to us. Okay, so that's the sad reality, no? So sexual violence, it includes but is not limited to rape, sexual harassment, acts of lasciviousness. Doc Shi, are you familiar with acts of lasciviousness and its difference?
can we make our audience more familiar with the terms, attorney?
My pleasure. I'd like to educate you. To our dear audience, allow me to enrich your knowledge today by telling you that rape under the revised penal code was limited only to sexual intercourse. But came RA 8353, which expanded the definition of rape. So today, there are two ways of committing rape. Rape through sexual intercourse, that's the old traditional rape. No? But it can never be old and traditional. It will always be a public crime. And the
Yes,
other
yes.
one is rape through sexual assault. So how is rape through sexual assault committed? When you insert the penis into the anal cavity or the mouth of the victim. So the perpetrator here is male, but the victim can either be male or female. Okay, without the consent of the victim, that's rape through sexual assault. Another way of committing rape through sexual assault is when you insert an object, and that includes a finger, okay, into the genitalia or the anal cavity or the anus of the victim. That is also rape through sexual assault. So those are the two ways of committing rape. Rape through sexual intercourse and rape through sexual assault. Now, the common question that people ask now is, where lies the difference between rape through sexual assault and acts of lasciviousness? Okay,
Yes.
anything short of sexual intercourse, anything short of inserting the penis into the mouth or the anal cavity, or inserting an object or a finger into the genitalia of the victim or the anus, that would constitute acts of lasciviousness. So
Lasciviousness.
lewd,
Okay.
yes, any lewd activity like you touch the female breast, inside or over clothing, the buttocks, okay, or the pudendum of the, that would constitute acts of lasciviousness already. So what I'm trying to say here is, these activities that you see on the screen, no, are considered sexual violence. But the more interesting question is, can a husband be held liable for marital rape? The answer is yes. Okay, this I emphasize. You might want to ask me this later. This I emphasize to all of you. Well, you have the right to provide, the needs of your spouse. You also have the right to say no if you are not able to fulfill that need of your spouse. If you are sick, okay, if you are having your regular period,
Yes.
you can't just submit to your husband's gratification. So what I'm trying to say here is, any intimacy without your consent would constitute marital rape.
Marital rape.
Okay. So next one, please. Next one. Okay. Can we have the next slide, Doc Shi? Okay. This is also another way of committing sexual violence. Okay. This is one very interesting thing that I'd like to tell you. Couples are are very creative. They have ways of initiating intimacy, right? Sometimes they kick it off by watching, materials that
Mm-hmm.
would
Mm-hmm.
trigger some excitement. I would not say it's fine. I would not say it's okay. For as
Mm-hmm.
long as it's done within the privacy of your home and you do it voluntarily, willingly, go ahead. Whatever makes you happy, okay, do it. But if there is already force, intimidation employed, like you coerce your spouse to watch obscene publications, indecent shows, that would constitute sexual violence. But the last item that I have here is really very interesting too, no? Because
Yes.
I have encountered a case like this before. The wife just allowed it because according to her, fiscal, mas mayo na lang na kaysa, that's better than not see my spouse at all.
Diyos
When you
ko.
force the wife and the mistress, the lover, to live together in the conjugal home.
Mm.
Okay, that is one sad reality. How I wish we can just empower our women, no? But this is one reality I want you to be confronted with because this is really happening. Perhaps you might have seen this on TV or in the movies, but this is actually happening. Can we have the next
Happening in
one?
reality.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, there. Mm.
Psychological violence. Okay. Take note. Anything that will cause mental or emotional suffering is considered psychological violence.
Psychological violence.
It can include intimidation. Yes, stalking. Can we have the earlier slide?
Okay.
Damage to property. A lot of people don't know this, no? When your spouse will damage your property, destroy your property, burn your bags. Kaya nga nung, why you bought Hermes, public ridicule, or humiliation. But take note of the last one, marital infidelity. In the September 8, 2020 decision of the Supreme Court, this is a very recent decision of the Supreme Court. A COVID decision handed down by the Supreme Court. In the case
Yes.
of Araza versus People of the Philippines, okay, this is GR 247429. This case was decided by a judge friend in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
He convicted the husband who was engaged in marital infidelity. He maintained a mistress over time. So the wife filed a case against her. I tell you, based on my experience, it's easier to prove marital infidelity as a form of psychological violence than concubinage. And this case of Arasa really supported this position of ours. Easier to prove marital infidelity as a means of psychologically abusing. Okay, so take note of that, huh? So if a spouse is engaged in marital infidelity, he can be held liable for psychological violence.
Psychological violence.
Okay, let's have the next one. Causing mental or emotional anguish, public ridicule, humiliation to a woman or her child, like repeated verbal emotional abuse. Even denial of financial support. Okay, take note of this. People always think if you are not provided financial support by your spouse that it's purely economic abuse. Let me correct that notion because the Supreme Court has declared also that it is a form likewise of psychological violence if you deny financial support or assistance to your spouse. Okay, if you deny your spouse access to your children, that is also a form of psychological violence. Now, see, by knowing all of this, you will come to really think, my goodness, a lot of people can be held liable for violence. That's why, Doc Shi, it's very important. This I have been talking about for the longest time. Let us not limit our education to wives, women, girls. Let's educate our men too.
That's
Because
true.
if we raise the level of awareness of our men, and then they will realize, my goodness, I didn't know the whole time that I've been abusing.
I was doing.
Yes, the more that they will be mindful of their obligations and they will be more respectful of the rights of their spouses. So it's really very important that we empower everybody by educating them. I hope we have male members in the audience today. I
We
really
have.
they are around, and hopefully if there are male members in the audience, they will also spread the word. Okay, so can we have the next one, please? Economic abuse. This was what I was telling you earlier. By the way, the most common form of abuse that we see in court today is economic abuse, physical abuse.
Okay.
Then we have psychological abuse third. We don't really see much sexual abuse because almost always they don't report about being violated.
Yes.
So the top
Because
three would be physical, economic.
attorney, in Philippines is quite a religious country, and in the Bible it says the wife should submit to the husband. It is the obligation of the wife according to the Bible, and so it's quite misinterpreted and perhaps causing this kind of misunderstanding or misinformation, siguro we call
I
it.
think yes. I don't want to touch on religion
Yes.
today, but what I would like, what I would like to say, it's really very essential that the husband and the wife discuss this, no? So they will know
Mhm.
what their expectations are. So I
Yes.
think you also know your boundaries, when and
That's
how,
right.
and
Boundaries.
yeah. So these are the things that you really have to discuss between the two of you. So it's very important that we do that. Okay, can we have the next one, please? I hope do we have a way of finding out if the members in the audience understand us, if we are on the same page?
Sige.
I'm so used to interactive presentations, Doc Shi. No, I just want to find out if they're following us, if they understand what we are talking about.
Okay. Sige, let's try a wave, a hi in the comment section. Kindly type in so we will know if you are following, or, just so we will know that everything is good from your end. Can you hear us very well? Please type in. Yes. So we are seeing 3 thumbs up for Carlo Montejo. Thank you for being with us. Yes. Thank you also for saying hi. My cousin also
We really have
is watching us, attorney Michelle
so
Grace.
we have a male member in the audience. That's good. I'm really very
Yes,
happy
we
if we have
have.
more male participants. It's very important that we do that. Okay, thank you for
Thank
cooperating. I
you.
appreciate that. Can we have the next one, please?
All
Okay,
right.
these are other reliefs given. No, so what is your recourse if you happen to be a victim of violence? Okay, I do not know if you are familiar of the availability of this remedy under the law. We have what we call as a protection order, and they come in 3 forms. We have BPO, or the Barangay Protection Order, temporary protection order, permanent protection order. Okay, or if you don't wish to seek for a protection order, you can go to the police. Okay, initiate a complaint, which will be filed in our office. So you can file a criminal case, but I tell you that not very many opt for a criminal action because they don't want to see their husbands go to jail. If you
Yes.
if you don't opt for a protection order or a criminal action against your spouse, you can also file a civil action for damages. But I don't see a lot of this in practice. If ever we will see one, that would constitute a minority. So there's one court, I had the occasion to check on their caseload. 48% of their active cases, criminal cases, are all about 9262. That's 48%.
Okay.
That's a huge percentage of the cases in one family
Oh.
court in Cebu. But they have very few application for protection order. So that does not really speak for the entire family court in Cebu. But if we are going to base it in that family court alone, there are so many reported cases, therefore, of domestic violence. If the number of cases is going to be our benchmark in determining the incidence of domestic violence, and only very few go to court and apply for protection order. But let me discuss more about each of these. No, can we have the next one?
Okay. Go. BPO.
Okay, BPO. Okay, this I would like to explain to our women here. No, you might know of some people who are victims of violence. Why is it that the law put into place this barangay protection order? Because our respective barangays are accessible to us, right? We know where our barangays are located.
Nasa unahan. Nasa unahan lang.
Yes, that's correct. So you can actually seek help from your respective barangays because this particular order is available. So what do you need to do? Okay, just take note of this. I have my notes for the barangays. This is my lecture for the barangay. Okay, let me look at the first thing that you have to do is to go to the barangay. Okay? Number 2, all our barangays already have pro forma applications. We have trained our barangays to do this dokshi. So as for the pro forma application, all you need to do is fill out your names, then check. We have made it very easy for everybody. Just fill it up, complete the form. Okay? If you have a medical certificate, if you have a police report, if these are available lang. But if these are not available, naa kay samat, naa kay buno, if you have bruises, if you have cuts, okay, but you don't need immediate medical attendance, because if you need medical attendance, please don't go to the barangay. But if you don't have any vehicle and you need to be transported to the nearest hospital, go to the barangay and ask for assistance. That is what you should do. Then the barangay will take care of the barangay protection after. So
okay, attorney, I'll just like to emphasize, to clarify that they do not need to go to the hospital for a medical certificate before their complaint becomes valid. The VAUSI desk is already
it's like this, only
enough.
if available. Only if available. You know why? Because if immediately after the violence inflicted by the spouse, you went to the barangay and there are visible signs of the abuse, that's more than enough evidence for the barangay to issue a protection order, because your safety is of utmost significance,
Priority.
importance, priority at that point in time.
Because
Okay.
it's a reality also that when they go to the emergency room, because of course I have also exposure in the emergency room, we have a lot of patients there, and so they line up with all the rest before they will get their medical certificate, which is 24 hours after. That's
Doc,
how it is.
yes, I understand the reality, but please do not forget, we now have the emergency response unit in the different barangays. Take note, we have ambulances available already. So they can provide immediate medical attendance, first aid. They can very well do that. In fact, in our barangay here in Sambagdos, we have the ambulance on standby and we have paramedics available. So you don't have to go far. So run to your barangay. So they can attend to you, and at the same time, the barangay can immediately issue a barangay protection order. So please take note of that. So the barangay protection order is issued by the punong barangay, but it's effective for 15 days. That's why let the barangay assist you in applying for a protection order in court. So what does the protection order from the barangay protect you from? From being physically threatened, abused, okay, by your spouse, because it will order the perpetrator to desist from committing physical harm or threatening the woman or her child with physical harm. And look at the second one, it will prohibit the perpetrator from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contact, or accessing the victim.
In any form.
In any form. So it is the personal safety of the woman that should be of utmost priority at that point in time. Okay? So that's the barangay protection order. Now, yes. This one, you need to go to court. So initially, when you go to court, the court will issue you a temporary protection order. Nganong temporary man? Because this is going to be issued even in the absence of notice or hearing. That's why we call it ex parte. This is one word that I want to teach you today. Ex parte, without notice, without hearing. Meaning, even without receiving evidence from the perpetrator's spouse, the court will issue you this order. That's why we call it temporary, because it's only good for 30 days. Within that period, the court will receive the evidence. Okay? So it's only when a TPO is issued that the court will notify the spouse and give him the opportunity to reply to the application. The beauty of a TPO is it is enforceable anywhere in the Philippines. Unlike other cases where it's territorial. Cases in Cebu must be filed in Cebu. Case in Mindanao must be filed in Mindanao. This is not territorial, no? Ang enforceability of the TPO, because it can be enforced anywhere in the Philippines. It's effective for 30 days. So you will ask me, what will happen if the presentation or the reception of evidence is not completed within 30 days, you can extend it for another 30 days. So the court will receive evidence from the applicant and from the spouse, and the court will determine whether or not the TPO can be made permanent, which leads us to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why I stated here, the permanent protection order is only issued after notice and hearing. So the court will not issue a PPO until after a hearing is conducted, but the TPO has already been issued by the court, di ba? So it's given priority over all other proceedings. Yes, and look at the beauty of a PPO. It's effective until revoked by the court, at whose instance? At the instance of the person whose favor the order was issued, meaning the applicant wife is the one who will go back to court and, yes, and tell the court, Your Honor, I don't need any protection anymore. Why? These are the circumstances. Okay, again, it's enforceable anywhere in the Philippines. So no PPO is issued unless there is notice and hearing. Okay, so this gives you the protection that you need. Now, who can file for a protection order? Of course, the offended party. But if she is unavailable to do that because she has to be medically attended, her parents or guardians can do that, ascendants, descendants, social workers of the DSWD or LGU, police officers, the punong barangay who has assisted her or perhaps issued the barangay protection order, even the counselor, the lawyer, the therapist, or two citizens in the city who have personal knowledge of the offense. So it's not exclusive to the victim's spouse. It can be applied by anyone in the community. Okay, I'd like to call your attention to this joint memorandum. I do not know if our audience is familiar with the Magna Carta of Women. The Magna Carta of Women is the National Bill of Rights of Women in the Philippines. Okay, it became effective in 2009. And in that Magna Carta of Women, it is stated there that each barangay must have a vow desk. That's why DILG, DOH, DSWD, the Commission on Women, the Philippine Commission on Women, were mandated to come up with guidelines in establishing a vow desk. So this is what I would like to tell you. You don't have to go far. Go to your barangay because each barangay is now mandated to have a vow desk that will attend to all the needs of our victims of violence. I want to tell you this because not very many of you know about the existence of a vow desk in every barangay. So you have everything contained in the guidelines, this joint memorandum circular that I have on the screen. You can actually Google this. It's available. There is a designated vow desk person who has been trained already to attend to all cases involving domestic violence. Okay.
Is this 24/7? Is the vow desk 24/7?
I think they will be on call, Dokshi, no? They will be on
okay.
call. Okay. So because you know that our barangays are open 24/7. We have barangay tanods there. They can always summon. Otherwise, if there is a need to bring the victim to the hospital, then anyone in the barangay can respond. Okay? Okay. This I would like to emphasize because the law contains this. Do not be afraid to come out. Don't be afraid to speak up. Because under the law, you have certain rights that you must invoke. The first one is you have every right, even if you're a victim of violence, you have every right to be treated with respect and dignity. You know, in the vows, I always require when I lecture about it before the barangays that they have to set up their vow desk in an area where there is privacy. You know how it is. Most of our barangay halls are very small. So they must be situated in a location where you will have privacy. Nobody will have the occasion to eavesdrop on the conversation that you will have because the law requires that you have to be treated with respect and dignity. All records pertaining to victims of violence are confidential in nature and nobody has the right to access them. Okay? You can avail of legal assistance from PAL. You are entitled to support services from DSWD and DOH and LGU. Okay, then you have the right to be informed of all the rights available under the law. Okay, now, what are the things that you can do? tell people that vow is never okay. Of course, that's precisely the reason why we're having this conversation this afternoon. Because it's never okay. Dili gyud na mingon nga okay ra na panagsara bitaw. No, it's never okay. So learn about vow and what causes it. That's why we're talking about this topic today. Encourage, support all those working to end vow. So I have to congratulate Doc Shi for thinking about this topic today. This is
And
your
our audience also. And our
I was
audience
about
also
to
for staying with us.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate them. Not only are you enriching your knowledge, you are empowering yourselves. And the best way to be able to effectively put this law into place to tell others about it and to be very mindful about what is happening. And most importantly, report. If you believe one is a victim of violence, report the incident. That's the only way that we can put a stop to it. So respect the rights of women and young girls. This is very important to, especially to our mothers, no? Raise your sons, raise your daughters to be equal. Teach them that there is nothing that boys can do that girls cannot. Okay, so I think that's
It always
very
starts in the
important.
home.
Yes, if girls can cook, so do boys. They should wash the dishes too. Okay, if
Yes.
girls should do the laundry, the boys should do the same. Pwede sila mamlansya and so on and so forth. These are the things that everyone can do because our roles are not supposed to be based on gender.
Yes.
We really have to capacitate and equip our children with the necessary skills. But in equipping them with the necessary skills for them to be able to navigate through life, it is very important that we also teach them kindness and respect. It's really very important. I'm not a parent, but I'm a parent to a lot of nephews and nieces and students. Okay. Okay. Discuss things with your partner. Okay. Those with partners, those married couples, you discuss. Sit down. Di ba, in every relationship, the most important role that you play is friend, a friend to your spouse. You're not just lovers, you're not just spouses, but you are friends. Because friends can say anything to one another, right? Talk with your friends and family on how you can support each other in stopping abuse, exploitation against women in all forms. And please, please, please don't make fun out of the matter. Kanang mga memes ninyo, you know,
Memes,
God, it's crazy. Use it as a material for comedy. God, this is a serious public issue,
That's
a public
right.
crime. Don't make fun out of women who are victims of violence. So let's educate young boys and girls about the issue, okay? And do I still have more? I think, okay.
You have, yes.
Yes, don't use disrespectful words. Diba, what are the things we teach our children? Thank you, please,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yes, these are the things that we should teach them. And we also, you know, it's not only that we teach them how to say these things, we should teach them how to say them sincerely and at the right occasion. Because I don't want our children to just abuse them, use them conveniently at any time to get away with things. I want them to use these magic words at the appropriate time. Okay, appropriate time. It's very important that we do that. Never judge people who are suffering or having suffered from abuse and violence. Men,
Yes.
okay, this I address to all the men here. Never remain silent. Never condone ka na inyong mga amigo, your friends who have committed a violation of the law. Don't condone them. Don't say, sus, magpakalalaki ka. Don't you ever try to say that. That's why
no?
it's really
The peers ba?
Yes, you know, it's very important that we seek out the right friends. We go out with the right kind of people. We should associate with like-minded people, people who share the same values as we have. Okay, if you associate yourselves with the wrong people, you learn the wrong things too.
That's
Okay.
true. I agree.
Okay, women, okay, speak up. Never remain silent if you are a victim. I hope the last two items here, 17 and 18, should be remembered, okay? I believe in this law of learning, law on recency. The last one, the most recent
Yes,
ones are the ones
yes.
that are most remembered. Okay, so please take note of that. And I think, okay, these are some words I want you to remember. Women have the right to live in dignity. They have the right to be free from want. They have the right to be free from fear. Okay, so As we end our activity today, let us dedicate ourselves to making these very strong words, these core messages, a reality. Okay. By the way, the picture. Can we have the last slide, Dokshi? Okay. The last slide. Okay.
Oh,
I have here. No, no, no. The last one. I'm sorry. Ako kining I will highlight this last slide. I have here on the last slide a picture of my mother. In all of my presentations, I always include her photo as my last slide, as my way of honoring her memory. You see, my mom left to return to our Creator in 2015. At the moment she left, I was very busy delivering a lecture also, because my mom, the day before she left, told me that I'm excited that you are doing the things that I have always loved doing, and that is imparting your knowledge to other people. Go. I know you have commitments. Even if I'm in the hospital, I understand you. So go and do your share in the community. So I did that. My phone was ringing while I was doing my lecture. I didn't know that it was my older sister telling me about what happened to Ma. So immediately after I did my lecture, I saw the text message. I completed my task, but I lost my mom. So as my way of honoring her memory, I have her photo. So thank you very much, everyone. Maayong hapon.
wow. Really intense this afternoon. Thank you very much. But we will not end in the presentation, attorney. I hope you still have time to address a few of the questions that are prepared already because of our viewers or followers who messaged us earlier. So this is the question. In your experience as a prosecutor, what have you observed to be the most common cause of domestic violence?
Okay,
Saan ba nagsisimula
okay,
usually?
I wish our work requires us to conduct a case study. So my reply to this query will be anchored on something that is concrete. Okay. But if you're going to ask me based on what we have discussed in the different fora I have attended, because I'm part of different training teams and I work closely with the Women's Center in PGH, no? We have recognized. I don't want to zero in on one particular cause, but we have
Okay.
recognized that it's an interplay of several factors. Actually, it can be individual, relational, cultural, and societal factors. But I'd like to focus on individual factors that may be considered as possible causes. Mo lagi na how I wish my work goes beyond just prosecuting, investigating cases, so I can answer this more intelligently from the perspective of a prosecutor. One, let me just enumerate. I had to write down my notes here. These individuals are more prone to committing intimate partner violence, husbands or boyfriends with very low self-esteem,
No.
husbands, boyfriends with low income or those who are unemployed, those who have low academic achievement, those with low IQ, those who have engaged in aggression, delinquent behavior as young people, or those who suffer from antisocial personality disorder, or those with conduct problems when they were young. They're more susceptible to inflict violence in their partners, or those who suffer from depression, then they displace their depression in aggressive behavior, or those who are heavy alcohol or drug users, or those who desire for power control, or those who believe this very strict gender rules that men are supposed to be the masters in the home, and women are supposed to be chattels, mga butang. I can just kick them, I can just throw them away, I can just use them at any time. Those who have that strong belief, or those who as very young children have not been taught self-regulating behavior, di ba, bata pa ta, when we were still very young, we were taught self-regulating behavior. It starts with
Ops.
toilet practices, when to
Ah,
clean,
yes.
when to poo. These are self-regulating behaviors. We reward positive behavior. Okay, we employ negative reinforcement for bad behavior. So these are the things that we were taught, but unfortunately, some people We're taught that, so
Wala.
they have poor behavioral control, so that's why they're impulsive.
Mm.
They don't know how to channel their aggression, their anger, their
Mm.
hostility.
Mm.
Or this is
Mhm.
really very, very true. Okay, these children who these husbands or boyfriends who turn out to be very violent, they have history of being physically abused themselves when they were young. They have been
Mm.
victims of physical or psychological abuse. You know, we have a lot of studies that show that this is one of the very significant factors identified to be a predictor of intimate partner violence. So those are the things that I
Mm.
can think of. You know, you can have a checklist of all these points, so the risk factors. And you have
Yes.
to remember also our society, because we have been colonized by Spain for the longest time. We're very patriarchal. Diba, everything is
Yes.
centered sa mga lalaki. We always believe that men are supposed to be the head. They're the boss at all times. So they must call the shots at all times. So that is what we believe in. And we have been taught by our parents, okay, before we get married, okay, if you want to become a successful wife, you have to submit to G, you have to obey everything that he tells you to do. I mean, these are the things that even our own parents, teach us. So we really can't blame how things are happening now, because that is what we have been taught. Okay, so I think these are just some of the risk factors that I can identify.
Yes.
I hope I answered that question.
It's very meaningful. Yes, very well. Attorney, this is quite a legal concern. Just a question from our male audience. He is asking, just want to ask or clarify, what is the prescriptive period for a complainant to file a complaint? Is there a complaint? Is there 24 hours time only before we consider it valid?
No, it's like this. If you go to the barangay, the barangay has to report the incident to the police within 4 hours. But if you're talking about filing a criminal case in court, you have a period actually of 10 years for you to be able
Ah,
to file a. It's like this. For acts falling under section 5A to 5F, you have a period of 20 years. But for other acts of domestic violence, you have a regular period of 10 years. That's what I'm saying.
But what if I am a victim today? How soon should I seek help, or otherwise my complaint will lapse?
No, it's
Is there
like
a
this.
thing like that?
No, 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 no. It's like this. If you're a victim and you need medical attention, go to the hospital first. Let the police come to you and get your statement. The police will just go to the
Mm,
fiscal's office for as long as 10 years is too long. Come on.
yes.
If you get better next month, you can take care of it.
Okay.
Okay?
So, sige. So again, this is more of really empowering them to go to where they need to go or they have to go. So our next question would be, what can you say about women saying, titiisin ko, mahal ko, and what advice can you give to women with such mentality? Since we don't know who among them are watching us right now, we're having quite a number of audience today.
Oh my goodness. I'm a lawyer. I'm a prosecutor. I don't really have the license to say anything, no. But let me just put it this way. If you ask me as
You're
a
a guest, so
lawyer,
you have all
no, no, no.
the...
If you ask me as a lawyer, as an empowered
Okay.
woman, okay, I
Uh-huh.
will say that you don't need a man to complete you. Get rid of him. Okay. But
I think
if
that
I
that's the
speak,
best.
if I speak as a friend,
Oh,
this is
sige,
what I
as a
will tell you.
friend.
As a friend, okay, you can't give what you don't have. You can't give love if you don't love yourself.
If you don't...
Okay. Um, it's just like holding a wallet, Dokshi. If all of your pesos are not there anymore, you don't have love for yourself. Look at the other currencies inside your wallet. Do you have dollars? Do you have yens? Meaning, do you have members of the family? Do you have children? Do you have the community? Do you have organizations? Meaning, find love and give love somewhere else. That is what I would like. I would like to do.
Mm.
Okay.
Wow. Very, very nice answer. So this is quite also controversial issue, especially that we are in the Philippines where divorce is not legal. So what's your stand on marriages suffering from domestic violence? What do you think should be the best intervention for families silently? Because we're talking about the severe ones where there are bruises all around, the woman is bleeding. But what about those families suffering silently from domestic violence? Because let's say the wife does not want to sue the husband, should we advise them, iwan mo na yan? Or should we tell them, save the marriage at all cost? Understand that your partner is not perfect. So tanggapin mo na lang.
Oh, okay. Legal intervention is not the only option available.
Okay.
I am a
Okay.
lawyer, but I believe that legal intervention is one among the several interventions we should consider if we want to address domestic violence. I will not tell you save the marriage. I will not tell you iwan mo na yan. Let me just no. Let me just put it in this manner. This is true to any relation. This is true to any relationship. I want you to think about this answer. You make the decision yourself, because no matter what I tell you, if you still end up deciding to stay, that's your call. Okay. This I want to tell you. A relationship, any relationship at that, it can be romantic, it can be platonic or whatsoever. It's just like a bank account, a commercial bank account. You make deposits, you make withdrawals. Okay? To nurture the bank account, we make several deposits. So, our relationship bank account, our emotional bank account, what do we deposit? We deposit understanding. Okay? We listen, we support, we care for our friends, we care for our spouse. Okay? We keep commitments. If we agree to have a date, okay, we keep our commitment, right? We meet, we prepare. Okay, number 3, we clarify expectations. Sit down, we talk about it. This is what I expect from you. So why is it that you cannot meet me halfway? So you discuss, you sit down, okay? You attend to little things. You pull the chair, you cook for him, you fix his bed, you fix his hair, you kiss him on the forehead, you embrace your wife, you give her roses on Valentine's Day. Diba, these are the little things you do, because there is no big moment in any relationship. It's actually a sum of beautiful little moments together that makes the relationship beautiful, okay? So you show personal integrity. How do you show personal integrity? Even if your wife is not around and you see beautiful women with you, don't look at them. Don't spend time with them. Because the best time to check your personal integrity is doing the right thing the whole time and at all times, even if no one is looking at you. Right?
Yes.
That is what is personal integrity. And please, apologize when you commit a mistake. Don't just say I'm sorry. You sincerely say I'm sorry, and then don't do it again. You know why? Even if you make little mistakes and then you apologize, you're making deposits again. And you are making the relationship grow. So, in answer to this question is, if you want to save the marriage, answer me this question. Do you still have enough deposits in your relationship, your emotional bank? Do you have enough deposits? Why? Because if you have been beaten black and blue, if your husband is engaged in marital infidelity, meaning he has committed a lot of mistakes, so many withdrawals, nag-overdraft na ka, what is there to save? What is there to save? So I throw the answer back at all of you. Okay? Just remember, my relationship emotional bank, do I have more than enough? So even if there are little mistakes, I can still forgive him. Okay, just think about it.
Yes, I have to look at the bank account. That bank account, I'll have to review.
I hope I'm making a lot of sense here. I'm not talking as a lawyer. I'm talking as a friend again. I'm wearing different hats today. I really hope I'm making
beautiful.
sense.
Okay, this one also is quite. I think this is quite related to the silent violence at home, especially on the psychological implication in the home among the kids, since we know that they are the most vulnerable in situations like this. Women tend to hide, but kids are very sensitive to situations like this. So since I know the background of being a psychologist, can you comment on the psychological implication on such silent violence in the home for the children?
Okay, studies have shown that 1 in 15 children have witnessed intimate partner violence. And the sad reality is that children are almost always the hidden or silent victims of domestic
Yes.
violence. Okay, just take note of this. Children who witness domestic violence are at risk of becoming victims themselves. In fact, there is a considerable overlap between intimate partner violence and child abuse. A lot of children are also abused physically by the perpetrator husband. So that's one effect. Second,
Okay.
children who are exposed to intimate partner violence are sometimes held helpless and frightened. They don't know how to articulate what they have witnessed. So, you know what will happen? Children absorb everything. Diba? Dokshi, you're a parent yourself. Children are like
Yeah.
empty vessels. They receive everything. They're blank slates at the
Everything.
very beginning. So they absorb everything. And you know what will happen if they see this? Even if they can't talk about it, how will they perceive the home? They will perceive the home. They will perceive the parent as unsafe. Okay? They will learn unhealthy norms about parenting, about relationships, and then they will come to learn that using violence is a way the eye of asserting control, asserting authority, instead of developing very healthy means of carrying out intimacy, relationships. So they will also learn, because children learn what they live. We know that, okay?
Yes,
So they will learn
yes.
that if they see that every day, especially because the mother does not speak up, she doesn't do anything about it. She will learn that violence is acceptable the eye. Okay? And you know the danger of it there is they will carry this out when they become adults, and they will apply this in their adult relationships. We know that there are short-term, long-term effects on children. Okay? Especially sa ilang emotional, cognitive, and social functioning. Okay? It also has effects on their health. I remember because we have this competency training in child abuse cases. Dr. Madrid, in one of his lectures, she's with UPPGH. No? She's one of our women and child advocates. She showed us an illustration of the brain of a child now 1 to 3 years old exposed to trauma and abuse, because witnessing intimate partner violence is one of the top 3 causes of PTSD trauma on children. Okay, we really saw the images that she showed us. We saw the differences in the development of the brain of children exposed and not exposed to violence. So you can see that there are physical changes in the development of the brain, which will also bring about physiological changes sa bata. Okay, so what am I trying to say here? If you have to identify these children who are at risk to such exposure, take them out. Always remember this. On matters that impact children, anything that will impact children, the best interest of the child should always be the primary consideration. So take the child out, introduce early intervention. Why? Because that definitely will mitigate whatever are the long-term effects of domestic violence. Because I believe in intergenerational violence. If they have been exposed to this at an early age, there is a possibility that they will pass this on to the next generation. So we don't want that to happen. We want to nurture and see healthy, emotionally, socially, psychologically individuals. So they will become very productive and responsible husbands and wives in the community.
In the future.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I think that we have one question in the audience that is very related to this question. I would like to jump to this question first, especially to our viewers who may not be the victim themselves but can be a friend, a family member, a bystander of a woman who is a victim of violence. Is it correct to say, wag mo kasing i-trigger para hindi ka mabugbog? Bungangera ka kasi. Or, as in the question in our audience, what if it is the male spouse or it is the male partner that complains about the abuse first and perhaps make this the reason of violating the woman also physically? Is there
Okay,
an explanation behind this?
Let me because it's the last question. What if the male spouse complains about the abuses committed by? This is not far remote. Actually, we have instances where it is the husband who is actually the one who is the receiving end of the abuse. But many of these cases are not reported because of the culture that we have. We don't expect spouses, the male husband, to come out. Is there a recourse? Yes, there is. Because the law is exclusively for women protection, we can still go to the revised penal code as your source. But question is, do you have the courage to come out and say, I am a victim of abuse? Because if you have that courage, please go out, share your story.
So
Because
will
no one deserves to be a victim of any form of abuse.
violation?
Yes.
Yes. So, is it right for us to say, being the bystanders, wag ka kasi bungangera, baka sobra naman, kaya ka nabubugbog. Or, sinasampal mo kaya ka tuloy nabugbog. Oh.
If this bystander is the victim of violence, and then I come to you and tell you, bungangera ka kasi, how would you feel? Let me tell you, a victim is a victim. Accepting the blame is one very okay. This is the last thing that I'd like to share with you. No, because this is part of my lecture. You know why women stay in abusive relationships? Because they are made to believe that they are responsible for the abuse.
Yeah,
And if
they are
you-
made to believe that they are
And if
responsible. Very good point.
If you happen to be the family member and the bystander who says this to the woman victim, you are reinforcing that belief. And you are not helping your friend get out of this abusive relationship. Okay? Let's put a stop to this. Okay? Your friend needs help. Your friend needs support. That's precisely the reason why this problem persists. Because of the absence of a very strong support system from family, friends, and bystanders. Let's do our share. This is not the time to be critical. Okay, this is the time to be understanding. This is the time to be kind. And this is the time to be caring. It can happen to anyone, and it can even happen to you. Think about it.
Wow. I have no other words, but I hope you can see the comments. Brian Neil Genconco Villarazo is saying that he is very happy to see you, so blooming.
My
Also,
former student.
oh, okay. Also, Myra Douglas is saying, thanks for the information you imparted. I'm so impressed with your guest's wisdom and knowledge. Yes, we are very blessed to have her. Also, yes, another viewer is suggesting, our male audience. We have a lot of male audience, in fact, here. So I'm very thankful. So beautiful questions, I should say. I think we have no more in the chat box to be addressed. And so it is our time. If you still have time to do the Tama o Mali segment, you still have time, attorney, to tell them
Sure,
the
sure.
take.
Sure,
All
sure.
right. Okay, that's good. So now we are at our Tama o Mali segment. So be ready. Type it in the chat box whether it is Tama or Mali. Okay, ready, everyone? Let's go. Okay. Tama o mali, number 1. Tama o mali, my husband is the master of the home. He has the right to chastise me. Again, is it tama o mali that my husband is the master of the home? He has the right to chastise me. Once again, type in number 1, is it tama o mali? Ready, set, okay, let's hear. Oh, wow, we have good answers here. Let us hear the answer from Attorney Lumanta. Is it tama
Yes,
o mali?
a very big mali, no? Because we I've emphasized this very early on in our discussion that you may recognize you. Okay, it's like this: marriage, a relationship is just like a dance. You dance together. When the husband goes to the right, you go to the right. He goes to the left, you go to the left. He moves forward, you move backward. You move forward, he moves backward. That is what a relationship is all about. Nobody is the master there. You're both masters of the dance. Okay?
Wow. All right, so we can see a winner here. Congratulations. She was able to answer correctly. Congratulations, Myra Douglas. Okay. Pop quiz number 2. Tama o mali? Pleasing a man is every woman's responsibility. I have to give in even if I do not want to. Again, pleasing a man is every woman's responsibility. I have to give in even if I do not want to. Is this tama o mali? All right, so can we give them the answer, attorney?
Oh my God, all of them really listened to my presentation when I spoke about marital rape. No, I mean, while you have the obligation to please your husband, he likewise is the obligation to please you. Of course, that is what it's all about. But you also have every right to say no when you are not physically, emotionally, psychologically able to submit to his desires. The same thing with him. Okay, I remember hosting a show in Rotary. I asked my panelists, okay, what are the signature moves of your spouse if you want to tell him it's your lucky night? Okay. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is maybe you can just tell him, darling, it's not your lucky night. Why? I don't feel lucky also. Because I don't feel lucky. Let's both feel lucky. Okay, for us to be able to enjoy our lucky night. When your husband respects you, when you say no, he's the perfect gentleman. You don't only have a
Wow,
husband,
yes.
you have a perfect gentleman for a husband. Okay?
All right. So thank you for that. Now we move on to we have a winner, Grace. Congratulations for pop quiz number 2. For pop quiz number 3, tama o mali, domestic violence is a serious problem. We have to speak up and put an end to it. Once again, pop quiz number 3, tama o mali, domestic violence is a serious problem. We must speak up and put an end into it. Tama o mali? All right. May we hear the answer, attorney?
Yes, tama. That's a very big yes. It's not only a serious public crime, it's a serious public health issue. Do you know daghan na kayong companies, many companies have lost revenues because they have to pay for the medical leave granted to women who are victims of violence. So you can just imagine that 1 in every 3 deaths of women is because of domestic violence. So what are we
Alright.
supposed to do? We really have to stand up for our right. The first thing that you
Yes.
must do is
Yeah.
to tell someone else that you are a victim.
Tell
Do
someone
not be
else. That's true.
yes. Do not be ashamed to tell others. Okay, why? You are the victim. You're not the perpetrator. It's not your fault that something was done to you. Okay.
I think the very good point here is that they should not be blamed for what happened. So they have the courage to speak up.
Correct.
So, well, I guess we are down to our last tama o mali question already. And so yes, that's our last pop quiz number So, attorney, before we end this segment, any advice or any message to our audience, especially among young girls who may be watching us now or single women? How can we avoid abusive relationships?
I hope you really took down notes earlier when I enumerated to you the individual risk factors, meaning
Mm-hmm.
if only we can make or give a checklist to prospective partners and lovers when they come to us and pursue us, no? Then let them answer. I wish we can do that. What I'm trying to say here is look for the red flags.
Mm.
If you see red flags, then that should be a message for you to, hey, let me take a few steps backwards and really examine if this is the right person suited for me. That's
Mm.
precisely the reason why we do the dating stage in any relationship, because that's the best time to really know your prospective partner. Get the time and the occasion to really know him, because I believe prevention is better than cure. Don't see your doctor when you're sick. See
Yeah.
your doctor when you're healthy. You know why? Because your doctor can very well tell you what you need to prevent
Mm-hmm.
from. You have to prevent yourself from getting sick. So, what do I mean by saying all these things? Look at your checklist. If you see the signs, your doctor is telling you don't do it, you'll get sick. Okay. So, I think that's the advice that I'd like to give you. God has given, okay, let me invoke God now. God has given us all our faculties, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our hands, and everything, for us to be able to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to see everything better. Put these faculties to good use. If you hear anything, if you see anything that's wrong, okay, then
Mm.
take a few steps backwards and think about it. Is this what I really want? Is this person going to make me happy? Is he the right person for me? Okay, just think about it. I think that's the best way to avoid an abusive relationship prevention.
Yes, I cannot agree more because I think that we are already given the capacity to be able to discern. Well, for those who are not yet in that stage, the Dangpanan session today is made for you to be able to become aware from what is right, from what is wrong, the boundaries, the limitations, and things like that. And so, we're very blessed, yes, to have Attorney Lumanta with us. Oh, Dr. Abe is watching our program. Yes, Dr. Abe, thank you for watching. Hello, hello. So, yes, I'm just so thankful that you said yes in this last regular segment. And so, what else? We have no
Okay,
more questions. I wish
let,
I
let,
can
let,
have
let
you
me
longer. Go ahead, please.
let me just say this, no. I openly and lovingly accepted the invitation, not only because I support the advocacy, but I also advocate for women protection. But most importantly, I accepted the invitation because how can I say no to you? I can't say no to you for another opportunity. So, okay, consider this an early birthday gift, Christmas gift, Valentine's Day gift,
Ah,
all for the love of the activity that you're doing. I believe in your cause. I believe in your program. I believe in your advocacy. And I completely support what you are doing. I commend you for doing what you're doing now. And I doff my hat off to you, Dokshi. And I hope there are more Dokshis in the world. Okay. So my kind regards to everybody. My kind regards to Jay and the children and to your parents. Salamat kaayo for the opportunity to join
okay.
you today.
Thank you very much, Ninang. I think this will really be the end of our segment and would like to say goodbye to you first because, again, I will be making some more announcements, especially that this is our last segment. So, guys, let us say bye to Attorney Lumanta for now. Bye, Attorney. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay. Okay, so lovies, yes, I know, right? Very intense topic. And so For you, if you have more questions later on, you can just simply message me so we may be able to hopefully address them. They're saying their thanks. Oh, my mom is also watching. Ma, thank you. Thank you for watching. Yes. Some more, some more. Okay. They're saying their goodbyes. Okay, so once again, the reason why Dangpanan was born is because we want to educate, empower, and inspire women to take charge of our health. May it be physical, emotional, or psychological. Awareness happens when we are correctly educated and having great guests as the ones that we had, especially Attorney Luanta today. We cannot thank you is not enough, but this is you can return this gratitude by paying it forward. If you have learned about them, click that share button, or you tell your friends, your neighbors, especially that social media is very powerful these days. So make use of it. You tell, you tag, you mention whatever, so these words can be spread all throughout. And yes, I cannot extend our Dangpanan anymore because it was a fruitful 3 months with you. But do not worry, we have special episodes every month, hopefully. And on June 12, Independence Day, Undersecretary Ricardo Halan of NDRMMC will be with us to talk about leadership and service above and beyond the influence. Once again, this is Dr. Shi Armero, and you are watching the last regular episode of Dangpanan. It is us, Dangpanan, signing off. Thank you very much for all the love and support. All the love, Doc Shi.